and welcome to Bright Young Things YouTube channel. Today we're going to have a look at plant and animal cells. So plant and animal cells are part of our Key Stage 3 Biology curriculum and can be found under the biology section of our YouTube channel. So today we're going to have a look at the definition of a cell, the similarities and the differences between plant cells and animal cells, the function of each part of the cell structure, and also how to use a microscope. So what is a cell? Cells are the basic units of all animals and plants. They're often known as the building blocks of all living things. So all living things, regardless of whether they're animals or plants, are made from at least one cell, if not more. So if they're made from one cell, they are known as a unicellular organism. If they're made from more than one cell, they are known as multicellular organisms. So what is the basic structure of a cell? We're going to have a look at some of the structures that you have within a cell and their functions. So the first one that we're going to look at is the cell membrane. Now the cell membrane is a thin layer that surrounds the cell. It helps keep the structure of the cell and it helps prevent some bad things from coming into the cell and keep good things in. So for example, it allows nutrients to enter, which are vital for the functioning of the cell. It also enables waste to leave so that we don't get that buildup within the cell. Another structure that we have within the cell is the nucleus. This is often known as the powerhouse of the cell or the brain of the cell. So its function is that it contains genetic material or DNA, which controls what happens in the cell. The DNA in the nucleus contains genetic information that the cell uses to grow and reproduce. Hence why the nucleus is often seen as the brain or powerhouse, as it controls everything that happens in the cell. The next structure we're going to look at is the cytoplasm. So this is a jelly-like material which you find throughout the cell, and it contains nutrients and salts and also structures called organelles. So the nutrients and the salts that it contains are vital for the functioning of the organelles that are also in the cytoplasm. An example of an organelle is the mitochondria, which is our next structure. So mitochondria, a type of organelle, are structures that contain enzymes for respiration. Now, just in case you've forgotten, a quick reminder, respiration is a process that releases energy. So it's vital in living organisms. So respiration in the mitochondria releases energy for the cell to function and for the cell to grow. The final structure that we're going to look at are ribosomes. These are tiny organelles which exist throughout the cytoplasm, and these are where protein synthesis occurs. Again, in case you've forgotten, protein synthesis is simply how a process in which we make proteins. So this is vital for lots of different structures within the cells and the cell functioning and growth as well. So now that we've looked at the basic structure of a cell, let's have a look at plant and animal cells. So you can see here this diagram on the right, we have an animal cell and a plant cell. So we can see that there are lots of similarities between the two in terms of the structures that we've just talked about. So you have the nucleus, the cytoplasm, the cell membrane, ribosomes, and mitochondria. So those are some similarities between animal cells and plant cells. All animal cells and plant cells have those structures. However, if we look at this plant cell, you can see that there are some structures that the plant cell has that the animal cell does not. So we have a vacuole, we have a cell wall, and we have chloroplasts. So let's look at that in a bit more depth. Let's look at this diagram here of a plant cell. And again, we have that cell wall, the vacuole, and the chloroplasts, which we did not have in the animal cell. So let's have a look, the cell wall. So the cell wall, we still have a cell membrane in a plant cell, but we also have a cell wall, and this is made from cellulose. The function of the cell wall is to strengthen the cell and support the plant. We also have a vacuole, which you can see there on the diagram. This is a space within the cytoplasm that contains sap, and it's also vital for keeping the structure of the cell. And finally, we have chloroplasts. So chloroplasts are an organelle that contain chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is a green pigment. It's what makes plants green. And this is where photosynthesis occurs. And again, for those of you who may have forgotten, photosynthesis is simply using light to make different foods or things that the plant needs to live. So now that we've looked at plant and animal cells, we're going to have a look at how to use a microscope so that we can actually view these cells. So again, some of you may have already used a microscope before. If you haven't, there's a photo there of one. And we're just going to have a quick look at the different parts of a microscope and then how to use it to view cells. So just working around those labels, we have the eyepiece lens at the top, which is the part of the microscope that you would look through to view the cell. We have the arm, which is the part of the microscope that supports the lens. We have the focus adjuster. So we have a coarse focus adjuster and a fine focus adjuster. These are how we focus on our cell and move the stage up and down so that we can really clarify that focus. We also have the objective lens. So we have 3 objective lenses, and these are all different magnifications. So this enables us to see different types of cells with different clarity and enables us to focus on them. We have the stage, which is where we would clip our slide onto so that we can actually view the specimen that we're looking at. And then at the bottom there, we have a mirror and light. It's important to have the mirror and the light because that's what helps us actually view the specimen. So the light shines through the specimen so that we can actually see the cells. So using a microscope. So if we have a quick look back, just have a quick look at that image there. Familiarize yourself with the labels that we have. And then using a microscope, this is the process that you would use. Once you'd already prepared your slide with your specimen on, you would then adjust the stage so that it is at its lowest level. Then you would place the glass slide with the specimen on the stage and select the lowest power objective lens. Then we would turn the coarse focus knob slowly until you're able to see the cells. So you would focus slowly using the coarse focus knob. Then after that, you would then turn the fine focus knob slowly until the cells are in focus. So step 4 and 5, you're using the coarse focus knob to roughly focus on it, and then the fine focus knob to really focus on it so that you can see it clearly. And then what you would do is you would repeat steps 1 to 5 that we've just mentioned using a higher power magnification, so a higher power objective lens, to see the cells in more detail. Okay, so a quick activity. We have there a plant cell and an animal cell, and we have the different structures that we've mentioned today. So if you want to pause this video so that you can fill in the blanks, and then we'll come back to it and have a look at the answers. Okay, perfect. Hopefully you paused that video and hopefully you're fairly confident on the different labels. So let's have a look over them and see if you've got them right. So there we have the mitochondria, the cytoplasm, the nucleus, the cell membrane and the ribosomes, which are the similarities between animal cells and plant cells. And we also have the cell wall, the vacuole and the chloroplast. I hope you did well. If not, feel free to look back through the video and just go over anything that you may have struggled with. So today we've covered the definition of a cell, the similarities and differences between plant cells and animal cells, the function of each part of the cell structure, and how to use a microscope. Thank you very much for watching our Bright Young Things YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe to our channel or like this video, and we hope it was very interesting for you and helpful. Thanks, bye.